Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man, I finally got you talking, man. Let's talk about the legal rackets.
Okay.
Because I joke about all these different entities and organizations that are rackets. And for those of you who don't know what a racket is, it is racketeering is the act of acquiring a business through illegal activity, operating a business with legally derived income, or using a business to commit dot dot dot. Come on. Using a business. The hell? That was bad. Or using a business to commit illegal activities. So that's one definition of it. And here's one that I think encompasses a lot of it. Racketeering is a type of organized crime in which the perpetrator set up a coercive, fraudulent, extortionary, or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation, a racket, to repeatedly or consistently collect a profit. So there goes your dictionary definition of what a racket is. So now we're gonna take a few things and we're gonna discuss how they are legal rackets. Because see, this great thing about having a media and Hollywood to direct and guide how we think. Sometimes we put our trust in institutions because they tell us to, and those institutions extort the hell out of us. Y'all know the first one, the church. And
uh,
so when I talk about the church being a legal racket, do I think that money is necessary to make the church operate? Yes. Do I think people should put money into the church? Yes. Do I believe in the values that are taught in the church? For the most part. Do I believe in the person that the church is built around? The Christian church, it is. Yes. But man, oh man, it costs a lot of money to get into heaven. So they say. It's like they tell you if you accept Jesus into your heart that you can get to heaven. That's the one thing that matters. But then they be like, run me them coins.
mhm.
And a lot of it, I wouldn't even call it coercion, but even though it kind of is because you're selling hope. It's like, hey, if you give to God, God's gonna give back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I just don't like the fact that they're constantly talking about money as a way of tithing or, giving your offerings because that's not what it is. Like,
It's your taxes.
no, like in the Bible, it was not that. Like, you give something that means something to you. So,
Your money means something to you.
not to everybody. No.
So, I in the past, I
Like
can
for
definitely.
you, you could easily say your time.
Oh yeah, my time is way more
If you
important than my
give
money.
if you give your time, that's you giving.
But the church cannot capitalize off of time as well as they can off of money. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just
I know what you're saying, but it's not.
put in the microphone, please.
Go ahead.
No, because I think there was a time, right, in a less developed society where if everyone's bringing their best to the church, then that can then be disseminated throughout the community to best support people. Which is why I think you have different ministries, where they give out money for college, where they give out school supplies, where they run food pantries and stuff like that. And they have different ministries where people can give their time, to serve using whatever skills they have, whether it's manual labor or whether it's, you're a doctor and you're doing some off the books treatment for people, or you're a barber and you're cutting people's hair, stuff like that. So I think that's there, but I truly think the money thing became like a big thing as we started to modernize society. And let's be real, the Bible was translated. So some things get lost in translation, but not only do some things get lost in translation, things get added in translation. Because there was a team of people who translated the King James Bible for King James, one of which being William Shakespeare. Now you're talking about one of the most skilled um, authors, writers, playwrights in history. I mean, his work still stands on its toes today, and he died in 1616. So, do you think he and some of his cohorts possibly could have put some coded language in the Bible because they're just that damn good? Probably. And if we're building our beliefs off of that, what does that say? I mean, there's a whole missing piece of the Bible that we don't use in the modern Christian church. It's kind of weird.
Mhm.
Now, again, this is not to be anti God, and this isn't even anti every church, but we know that you need money to operate. And if you're doing a special project, it's okay to ask for extra money. Like, hey, we want to do this for our community. We want to do this for our members. Hell, even if we want to do something for our pastor because our pastor's taking good care of us and we think we want to reward him outside of his salary. Because I do think pastors should get a salary because it is a full-time job. Unless the church is going to cover all of their expenses. I wouldn't do that. But I also think that there needs to be transparency with what comes in and what comes out. And I think that's where the racket comes from, right? Because the people who put in the most money are the people with the most say so. I know some churches don't allow members who don't pay tithes to vote. Am I here? Am I participating? Am I part of this church family? Yes. But I can't vote? Sounds like a racket to me.
Right.
What else we got? Funeral homes.
Mhm.
Again, everybody has to die, okay? Death is guaranteed to all of us. About the only thing that's guaranteed is death, but it's guaranteed. Why does it cost $8,000 to die? Why are we charging like $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 for a casket?
Yeah, that's just the casket.
Hold on, why are we caring about these glamorous caskets and not throwing people in wooden boxes?
That has been my question for the longest because no one's going to see it. You're dead, so you're not even living in it really. Your soul's not there. It's just your bones. And it's like, why are we spending this much money on something that we're going to put into the ground?
Because we're going out in style.
Put me in a cool suit or something. Cute dress. Do my makeup.
But the casket's still gonna sit up there, you know what I'm saying? So everybody can see it.
Okay.
You don't want that ugly ass wooden box sitting up there in that nice church.
I don't want to be sitting anywhere.
I know you want to be in an urn.
Yeah. Well, no, not even an urn.
I
I
know
just
you
want
want
to
to you
be.
want to go from the urn to the ocean.
I don't know what I want to do yet.
I thought you wanted to go into the ocean over by Lovers Point.
No, I don't think so.
Well, say
That
that in the
might have been an
microphone.
option. It might have been an option.
You said it when we first started dating.
Oh, are you sure that was me and not me talking about my cousin?
No, you said you want to join your cousin.
Hmm. That might have been an option. I don't know. I
Okay,
kind of want to do like the tree thing.
tree thing.
You get like you're basically used as like soil for a tree, so it can grow,
Put me in that box.
or it can be pressed into a diamond. Diamonds are forever.
The hell is she talking about? But no, and again, the funeral, it costs money to do a funeral. It costs money for supplies. It costs money for people to embalm you and all of that stuff. But y'all are getting over.
Exactly why I just want to get cremated. It's
Yeah,
cheaper.
it still costs to burn you.
Yeah, but it's cheaper.
I know. They still getting over.
Yeah.
I mean, I
You can
better,
burn me.
huh? I'm not acknowledging that. The veterinarian, they're also another legal racket because nobody knows anything about pets, and pets can't speak English. For them to describe to us what they're feeling and what their pain levels are, and it's a whole lot of implicit stuff that you got to do to try to figure some stuff out. And y'all can just pay. Y'all can just take our money. I mean, my last couple of vet interactions. One was, "Hey, I'm seeing these symptoms pop up. Can I get a prescription?" Yeah. Like, wow,
Yeah.
just gonna give me steroids and hydrocodone
Not
for my.
confirm what's going on.
It's like, you didn't even ask for more money for me to bring them in, because it's like, oh, if this doesn't work, you'll bring them in, and we'll do
Mm-hmm.
what we did last time, and you'll be out of $500.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure we just keep that cream. There's a time and place for everything, and now is not the time, and this is not the place for that. Okay, Jesus Christ, it's the family show. Um, yeah, fuck that. College, I went. It was valuable, but it just costs too much. If it was still affordable, it wouldn't be a legal racket. But because y'all are charging so much, and then people got to take out student loans just to be middle class and going to college, especially if they want to go to a private college that provides them opportunities to expand their network past what the public colleges do. Nothing against public colleges. I support public colleges. But sometimes I mean, people, things are private for a reason. So if you can get in, sometimes it could be more exclusive. And we just shouldn't have to pay that much for college.
Wedding.
Mechanics,
Oh.
car mechanics. They're like the vet.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I was checking on I was changing your oil, and I saw that you need a new air filter. That'd be an extra $15. I already put it in there for you. What? I remember I had some brake issues, and they had this policy that if they looked at it, they could not like release it back to me. So then I had to allow them to do the work.
Wow.
I guess my brakes were awful. I was acting like I had an Altima.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, light was probably on too. It's a joke. But now, so like they were like, we have to we can't release this car back to you because we don't want to be held liable for
Right.
me having an accident in my raggedy brakes.
Right.
That's bullshit. If y'all didn't touch it, you just looked at it. I should be able to drive off and and hit somebody to be my fault. Instead, they got $400, and the person who went somebody had to put some pads on it less than 2 years later, and they were like, well, whoever touched your car, don't let them touch it again because they messed it up.
Oh.
And then the whole wedding industry, from the venue to the ring sellers to the plate makers to the bartenders to the planners to the everybody, the whole wedding industry is a legal racket. The fact that y'all can tell me that I'm supposed to spend 6 months of my pay on a wedding ring, are you crazy? I don't want to spend 6 months pay on a wedding. Think I'm gonna do it for a ring? Wait, that shows you how much you love her. No, it don't. I can use that money on her and other things that makes her happy. Not just a ring or just a ceremony. Oh, y'all, I gotta pay a wedding planner to do what? Ask me if I like this? Go through the catalog with she memorized by heart? I still gotta go through the catalog too. Well, I can call these people. What shit? All they numbers is listed right here. What are you really saving me? A little bit of time? Now, if your friend's the wedding planner, that's different because they know you. But just a regular wedding planner? Are we getting a wedding planner?
No. I am the wedding planner.
We are the wedding planners.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all are not scamming us for this wedding.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not. Some of y'all aren't invited.
A lot.
Most.
Yeah. Small and intimate what we're going for.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, what else we got on the docket today?
Toy Story.
You want to talk about Toy Story?
Or men's.
Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll talk about Toy Story, then we'll talk about the Disney disclaimer.
Okay.
So somebody decided to turn on Toy Story 4 yesterday and not watch it. Like, I don't know what I want to watch tonight. Well, you started back watching a movie that you were watching earlier in the day. I think that would be a good place to start. So we ended up watching Toy Story 4 today. When did it come out?
I don't know.
Has it been a minute?
Yeah.
Well, it was my first time seeing it. I've only seen Toy Story 3 once. And I haven't seen that since, like, I want to say I saw Toy Story 3 in theaters, so God knows,
2019.
So we watched Toy Story 4 finally. I'll tell you what, that was a adults movie. Nothing about that was a kids movie other than it was talking toys.
Yeah.
It was more Sausage Party than Toy Story 1.
I don't think it was Sausage Party, but yeah.
Not as vulgar,
Yeah.
but it was speaking to the same age demographic.
Yeah.
Like that if you're a 5-year-old, you don't understand any of that stuff that's going on. You don't understand the themes. You don't understand what it meant for Woody to be cast to the side. Like, what are we doing? Like, what, Woody? You don't play with Woody? Andy being gone. Even if you watch those movies, there's no way you can have that same emotional attachment because, I mean, shit. It took us to 2019 to get to number 5. That's over 20 years. Or number 4, whatever. So we watched it and we both teared up at the end once Woody walked away from the group and he reunited with his boo thing.
Bo Peep.
But, for one, that should let you adults know that true love circles back. Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. Yeah, that's what really, But it should also tell you that when you're no longer valued where you are, it's time to move on. Because Woody was loyal to the family. He was loyal to his group of toys.
And Andy.
And Andy, yeah. But this new girl, what's her name, like Becky or something?
Bonnie.
Bonnie wasn't rocking with Woody. He wasn't running the show no more.
He was in the closet.
He was in the closet. And
got a dust bunny.
Yeah. Damn, he did have a dust bunny.
Yeah.
He was hanging out in there with the whack toys. And then when, Bo Peep challenged him to like try something new, to be a lost toy. And at the end, he was like, nah, yeah, I can't go back. I got y'all back together. You know what I'm saying? I found a little sport, got him where he needed to be. Passed gave Jessie, she the new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
Told Buzz, hey, you the OG now. You got it, baby. Potato Head crying and shit. But honestly, it was what was best for him because he wasn't getting played with at the house. So why not go out here and enjoy your life?
Right.
And so often we want to stay in the damn closet because we so used to being in the house, but we just won't go outside and chase new adventures. And we adults who watch this movie should learn something from Woody. One, mind your business and stop trying to fix everybody's damn problems. Fix your own. But two, when you get put in that closet, whether it's at work, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with a significant other, no matter who it may be, if you get put in that closet and you stay in that closet too long, it's time to move on to new horizons. Now, if you get put in a closet in the summertime because you're a winter coat, that's fine. But when it's your time to come out, if you ain't getting the opportunity to come out and be seen, you should get the hell on. The same should apply to your clothes and shoes. If they sit in that closet too long, you need to let them get the hell on. Or you're gonna have 1, 2, 3 closets full of stuff and clothes at your parents' houses and no room for new stuff, no room for growth. and we got to give ourselves those opportunities. But another theme I found from the movie was acceptance, because all of those lost toys just wanted to be accepted. They wanted to be loved. And the ones that had been lost, they were afraid to even go to another kid because they were afraid of that feeling of being rejected. And we've all been rejected. But you can't find happiness if you run from rejection. Part of acceptance is being rejected. Part of rejection is acceptance. Like, you don't know those feelings without having felt the other ones. You can't get either of those feelings without opening yourself up to being accepted. If you open yourself up to being accepted, you can get rejected. If you open yourself up to being rejected, you can be accepted, but you have to do that. And I thought that movie was actually very powerful. It could have been 20 minutes shorter, but it was powerful.
Oh yeah.
I kind of went on a rant here that I wasn't expecting.
No,
But
good.
how did the movie make you feel?
I honestly wasn't thinking that deep into it until you came to sit down, and I was like, "Oh, you're right."
What were you?
I just took it. I was just seeing it in the lens of my 5-year-old self,
Okay.
or Toy Story. The first Toy Story came out when I was 5, so I'm just thinking, it's kind of like a little kid thing for me. I was just enjoying it. So I don't know. It wasn't until you came and sat down and kind of started talking, like speaking your thoughts out loud, where I was like, "You're right." I forget that there's actual like meanings behind these movies that when you're a kid you don't know, you don't
Hell
realize
yeah.
those stories, but now that we're adults, we can actually look at it in that lens.
I mean, just think about it. Aladdin. It's
Mhm.
about be yourself. And when we think about, all, let me tell you, we were having a conversation about this actually last night laying in bed. One of my biggest struggles in life is being myself. Um, and it comes from a lot of different things. Being told to act a certain way because that's how you'll be properly received. And some of it is trial and error and parts of myself that I don't necessarily like. Hold on. Parts of myself that don't sit well with a lot of other people, and those being things that I actually love about myself. Letting you know that, hey, maybe the people who can accept this are the people who you should be in your life, but wanting to be accepted by people in general, it makes you like do things that please people. And it's not like pleasing everybody. I am naturally a blunt asshole. A lot of people don't stomach that very well on a consistent basis. It is overbearing. And I'm also an all or nothing personality. So you either get blunt asshole or you get nothing. It's like yeah. What do you mean? Just say it. That's stupid. Well, that's mean. So like with that, with that battle, it just leaves you in an odd place. But ultimately, being yourself gets you what you're supposed to have, right? Um, any other Disney movies you can think of now, just sitting here, like that had these bigger picture meanings? Because I think a lot of those movies just spoke to being comfortable in your insecurities,
Mhm.
like Nemo.
Yeah, or like that Encanto, the
I,
Encanto movie.
I was talking about your feet. I've not seen the Encanto movie.
Oh,
Habla español. Excuse me, habla inglés.
hablo inglés.
Yeah, hablo inglés. No sé. Pero, ¿qué es el cinema about?
Película. Um,
Película, that's a school. No, that's a escuela. Película is movie. You know what's crazy? Película popped into my head first.
really?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, no, that's school. And then like, no, school's a lot of escuela. Yeah, película.
So it's about a Hispanic family. I don't know truly what they are, if they're Mexican or It doesn't matter.
It's Disney. They're
It's
probably Mexican because they keep it simple.
it's a family, and
Not because Mexicans are simple, it's because they just picked the Hispanic race that everybody thinks everybody Hispanic is. Just to clear that up.
it basically talks about how their family all has a specific gift.
Okay.
And when it was, and there's like a huge ceremony, and that's when, the gift is known or whatever.
Okay.
And so this girl, when it was her turn, didn't have anything. So she was kind of like the outcast because she didn't have a special gift. And usually when you have a special gift, you have your own room, you live this whole different life.
Okay.
So with her, she was kind of just there and not accepted and just the outcast. So it's kind of just telling her story of, accepting herself and embracing herself for who she is, because not all gifts have to be some extravagant thing. They can be something very simple.
So how did it end?
I can't remember.
You know the one thing I don't like about movies?
What?
The happy ending. That shit ain't life. Every
Sometimes. Not
sometimes,
all. Not
but
always.
but think about. Let's go back to our TV show. I always grew up thinking about this fairy tale.
Oh gosh.
But
Yeah.
but think about how much that was portrayed to us and the happy ending and the up, the down, and we end up working out the relationship. That's not real life. And now you paint this narrative again. We're slaves to the Hollywood and the media. You have this narrative painted that, oh, it's all gonna work out in the end. Not in that situation. it may work
work
out.
out, but not in the way that you want it to always.
It exactly. But the movie is gonna work out the way that you want it to work out at the end.
That most viewers would like for it to work out in the end, yeah.
Yeah, and then we think that is reality because we think, they use enough real situations that allows to relate. But then the conclusion, I mean, they always get the bad guy. How often does the bad guy win? Exactly.
Like never.
Let's be real. In Batman, Heath Ledger Batman, the Joker should have won. He turned Harvey Dent after Batman was supposed to be done and people kept dying and Batman couldn't get to him. The Joker should have won that movie. But it's a movie, so he didn't. So I think that's the one issue that we have is this level of finality that movies give us, that shows give us. We can't wait till the season finale. But at the end of the day, like that's not reality. That's not real. What was that conversation about closure that we had?
Oh yeah.
What like closures for you, not for that other person?
Yeah. Like the closure is something that you do for yourself. You don't get it from another person. So even though you think that you need to talk to this other person to get closure, that's false. It's within yourself.
But how is closure truly presented to us? You closing that door shut with that other person who the issue is with. When you can close that door shut with them, that door was closed shut before this conversation.
Right.
Whatever you needed to know has been shown by the actions that have happened. So, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, what are we actually doing here?
They just want to hear something different. So they're giving chances again and again to hear something different when in reality it's not going to happen. Or if it does happen, it'll be insincere.
It'll be insincere. And you know what? It could even be sincere. But you know what? It's not. If you don't do the work, it's going to come from a different place, because you can forgive somebody, but you don't unlearn what happened. You don't forget those things. You can move past them, but you're eventually going to get triggered
It'll
because
still affect you some way.
exactly. And if you can't move on in that way, that's where the closure is. Like, have you closed this out within yourself, not with that other person?
Right.
But I came across this post that talked about 5 ways to forgive someone who didn't apologize. And I think it goes hand in hand with this closure conversation because how often do people just want an apology from somebody and they don't get it? And for me, I think that our apology culture is really watering down what an apology is because if you're constantly telling somebody that they need to apologize for something and you're not willing to move on or accept what happened without their apology, well, hold on, what? So you're making me tell you that I feel bad or I did not mean to do something to you, and that's what it takes for you to move on? Well, I can give you lip service, and that makes you feel better? Or should I change my actions? Should I, because you give me time to grow, and then you move on 6 months down the road instead of 6 hours, right? Like, let the work speak for itself, or wait for a genuine apology because it may take longer for that work to happen. It may take more mess ups for that work to happen. You accept a genuine apology because I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry because you told me to be sorry. I'm sorry because I realized the fault in what I did. And maybe I didn't realize my fault today. I realized it later on, you know?
I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily an apology people are looking for.
Okay.
I think it's sympathy.
Okay.
Not really sympathy, it's empathy
Okay.
to show that you understand how this made you feel.
Okay.
So just to be like, "Oh yeah, that does, that is shitty. My bad." Like it doesn't even have to be a my bad and be like, "Yeah, that is shitty." Just to be like, "Okay, so you realize the thing that you did that affected me."
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really care for an apology. I rather just know that you are aware of the issue or, of the moment.
Yes, I agree. And that makes sense to me and you in our rational brains, right?
Mm.
But let's go out to irrational brain. Think about all the public figures who have to give apologies because they offended a community. Look at you, you're rolling your eyes. Exactly. We will not listen to your music anymore until you apologize to us for the things you said. Hold on, so you still like my music? My views. Do you think my views change this quickly? Or what if I had said something that was offensive that's not reflective of how I feel? I just said some shit, right? Because I say offensive things, and it's not reflective of how I feel about said person, said group of people. Just some shit I said. I mean, obviously the words come from somewhere. Like I'm sure there are people who wouldn't like when I be like, "No habla español." I'm like, did I mistreat you based on your race, culture?
Yeah, I find that offensive.
I said, do I mistreat you because of your culture or your race?
No.
No. Roll your eyes at me again. It's gonna be some mistreating going on in his office. we'll cut the cameras off. Those are jokes. Domestic violence does not happen around here. You got that? All right, but let me get to this 5 ways to forgive. Or yeah, stand in your truth. You know what you went through. You don't need their admission or validation of what happened. Anything? We hear all 5.
Yeah, I want to hear all 5.
Don't say it's okay when it's not. Allow yourself to fully feel the pain of what they did. Their inability to apologize doesn't mean that it was okay. You decide that. Don't keep the door open to those who consistently hurt you. Part of holding them accountable is about you drawing boundaries and taking away their access to you. 4, don't allow them to gaslight you into believing that it's all in your head and you're too sensitive. If it hurts, it hurts. Someone who cares about you validates your feelings without shaming you. 5, understand that forgiving them doesn't depend on their apology. Forgiving them means that their actions don't control you anymore. It means that you see them as humans who've treated you from their own level of maturity and awareness. Your ability to see that helps you take away from their power over you. Double tap if this post was helpful. Should I double tap?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of, I find it truthful because you don't need the validation. You do need to set those boundaries if they're not taking the actions to stop affecting you in a negative way. Like you need to put your boundary down and cut them off. Not necessarily cut them off, but like, limit the time, limit the access that you have because protect your peace.
Yeah, I feel like you got some more here.
No,
You know,
it's pretty.
for the most part, I think it's right. Stand in your
Mhm.
truth. But here's my pushback.
Mm.
Your truth isn't always the truth.
Mhm.
And I think in standing in your truth, especially if somebody has wronged you or you feel like someone's wronged you,
Mhm.
I think that you should be open to your perception of what happened or your perception of the truth not being the only thing that is true, right?
Right.
Because again, it can be totally true to you.
Mhm.
I mean, look, I make faces and use tones.
Mhm.
Sometimes those faces and tones mean something. Sometimes they don't. Like, I'd be like, huh? Why you gotta make that face? What face? You made a face. I go, oh. Sorry. Brain wasn't there. Um,
I think when they say stand in your truth, it's more of like your morals. I don't know if it's like specific to an incident.
well, think
Like when
about it.
I heard that be like stand in your truth, it's like, what are your morals?
I think here we go. Where perception of an event, right? Or perception of this is different because stand in your truth. I think that's what you would say if you wrote that. Because, but I also don't see you as I stand in my truth. Like you don't use the terms like my truth because when it says you know what you went through, you don't need their admission or validation of what happened.
For the gaslighting.
No, this is number one.
Oh.
This isn't even the gaslighting. But if you're saying that you don't need their admission or validation of what happened, that means what you perceived to be the truth is the truth. That's how I understand it. So I think that being confident in what you felt throughout the experience is very important. Like don't let somebody tell you what you felt. You know what you went through, you know what you felt. But I think you should be open to, especially if there's somebody who is showing, empathy, showing sympathy, saying like, "Oh, I made a mistake because here's how I perceived what I did in your reception of it." Because I think there you open up the door for a conversation to find the truth where we're not just focused in one's truth or someone else's truth. Let me see. Let's go back to the second one. Don't say it's okay when it's not. I don't know how you argue with that one. Like if something's bothering you, let it be known. Don't keep the door open to those who consistently hurt you. Yeah, draw boundaries. Like, I can only feel bad for somebody so many times for getting messed over by the same person. At some point, it's your fault, to include me. Don't allow them to gaslight you into believing that it's all in your head or you're too sensitive. If it hurts, it hurts. Yes. Yes. But I don't think that should be an excuse for not building resiliency. Somebody can't tell you what hurts you and what doesn't hurt you. And they probably shouldn't tell you what should hurt you and what shouldn't hurt you because we all, all things affect us differently. I'm sure there are things that I can go through that Bam Margera and Steve-O couldn't have fathomed dealing with. And I've seen things that they do that I could never do. But at the same time, just because something hurts you today doesn't mean you should continue to allow it to hurt you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So, no, don't let anybody gaslight you, but at the same time, don't stop yourself from growing because of that, I think the growth should be consistent. And lastly, if your forgiveness should have nothing to do with their apology. Those should be two totally separate entities. Like you forgiving somebody should all be internal and their apology should be totally internal. You should be able to move on with your life without validation of other people. Once you're good with it, and whatever time it takes you to get there, hopefully sooner rather than later, because that's best for you. It's best for me. It's best for you. But I think that you should take that time to grow, but make sure you take your time. And it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think as men, these 5 things are things we should think about, whether we're the one on the giving end or the receiving end. I think that we should take care of ourselves. I think that we shouldn't gaslight people around us. We shouldn't gaslight our friends. We shouldn't gaslight our family. We shouldn't gaslight our significant others. We shouldn't gaslight ourselves. Like this idea of masculinity, this whole macho man thing, it goes into why I did toxic masculinity t-shirts, because everything about masculinity was claimed to be toxic. Some of it is toxic, some of it isn't toxic. And some of the stuff that we say is positive masculinity is truly toxic masculinity. And we got to break that. So in this Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I want you to become aware of your personal mental health. Then next month, take steps to break those chains. That's all I got for you. Big baby out.